Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Moonpier.
Howdy.
We're in the second half of our twinned movies, celebrating 2018's twin movies. We just watched Venom last episode, and for this one, we're going to watch Upgrade. Venom featuring Tom Hardy, and Upgrade featuring Discount Tom Hardy, Diet Tom Hardy.
Nope.
Yeah. He was in Prometheus, right?
He was, yes.
Okay.
He was the one who had the eye snake.
Ugh, bleh. Ugh, barf. Yeah, okay. I liked him in Prometheus. I thought he was pretty good.
And the funny thing is, in all honesty, and everything I've seen Logan Marshall-Green in, let's discount Tom Hardy for you listeners.
Right.
Everything I've ever seen him in, he is hilarious. And he's fantastic. Like, he's actually a genuinely brilliant actor.
Right.
So, a little bit of backstory here about me and Logan Marshall-Green. I am a huge fan of the television show / soap opera, The OC.
Okay.
I'm of that age. It was about the right time for it to come out.
It's a pretty okay show. I'm not gonna.
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
And Logan Marshall-Green in the latter seasons plays Ryan's brother.
Aha. Okay.
Ryan's brother, who is eventually shot by Marissa. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen The OC, it's like 20 years old at this point. I've got no excuse.
Yep.
So that whole thing with that makes me laugh because, like, I think he does a good job in it. Like, he's a good actor, he does well, and obviously he dies, and that's fine.
Right.
But there's this great moment where Marissa shoots him, and then a song plays during the TV show.
Listeners have probably seen the SNL riff on this rather than seeing the actual scene.
Yes, which is the "Ooh, What You Say" song, which I will not sing it because sure.
Yeah.
But it makes me laugh because anytime Logan Marshall-Green is in something that Cinema Wins covered, which is something we discussed this week on Twitter.
Correct.
Anytime he dies,
oh no,
he immediately puts in "Ooh, What You Say" and then a gif of Marissa firing the gun.
That's great.
Which is fantastic. So every time he dies, I literally get that song in my head.
Oh no! So we're in trouble for this movie.
Yes, I got it in the Everything Great About Prometheus video. I got it in the Everything Great About Spider-Man video because Logan Marshall-Green is in that too.
Oh wow! Okay.
He's in Not Far From Home. He's in Homecoming. He's the Shocker who gets disintegrated.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But yeah, Logan Marshall-Green. I love him. He is a fantastic actor, but I always forget his name, and he will always be Discount Tom Hardy to me.
Yeah, he's like a really great actor that just unfortunately looks exactly like a really well-known actor. It's uncanny.
The funny thing is, I actually think Logan Marshall-Green may be a better traditional actor. Like, he reads his lines better. He emotes with his voice a lot better. But Tom Hardy is a much better face actor, and I love me a good face actor.
Right.
As we saw previously in Venom, where he did all of the face acting.
Yeah. So I don't know a super ton about Upgrade other than this is one of those movies that I feel like I didn't hear about until virtually everybody was talking about it and saying, like, look, we have watched this movie. You haven't heard of it? Go see it, knowing as little as you can about it. It's way better than it has any right to be.
Honestly, that's pretty much correct. Like, this was one of those movies that came out, and very much like Split, where when Split came out, everybody was like, "Don't read nothing, don't do nothing,
just go see it.
Go watch it."
Yeah,
like, please, just go watch it. This is also from the same director as Saw, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, wait, is he the director, or was he in Saw? I don't know. Oh, he was an actor in Saw. He directed this, but he was an actor in Saw.
Interesting. Okay. So, my thought here is, obviously, since this is a twinned movie with also every time I say twinned, I just think twins, Basil. Um, every
Hold on, we probably had two different twin references in our head then.
Okay,
What was your reference?
Austin Powers. I think the first one.
Okay, because I immediately thought of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger is pregnant. Is that twins?
No, no, I don't think so. I think that Twins is the one with Danny DeVito, I think it is.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is pregnant in that. I don't remember. We'll look it up later. We'll look it up between halves. But I feel like that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of interested in Upgrade is sort of like, well, Venom has a very obvious I'm just gonna say it, upgrade path between Eddie Brock and the symbiote. Sorry, listeners.
Really?
Um,
Really?
there you go. Which I feel like most people know about Venom if you're anywhere close to anything having to do with comics. I'm kind of looking at Upgrade saying like, boy, between the title and the twin theme here this time, real curious to see what we got going on this time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing with the whole twins thing, twin thing, is that it obviously shares themes and storytelling with Venom. So, spoiler alert, there might be a similar kind of plot going on here. It's
Right.
kind of the point. But yeah, I I don't want to say anything like at all, because like this is a movie. To be honest, it's like it's only really got Logan Marshall-Green in it that I remember.
Sure.
I don't remember anybody else.
All the posters look super cool.
Yeah, and it's really weird because I was scrolling through my video game library yesterday, and Logan Marshall-Green's face is on the front of one of the games that I have installed. So that's weird too.
It's just like, I'm sorry.
By the way.
To close the loop here on the 1988 film Twins, that stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, where they are twins separated at birth. The movie I was thinking about is the movie Junior, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, where Arnold Schwarzenegger is pregnant. Directed by Ivan Reitman. That's weird.
Okay. So
two
twins. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito joints.
Right. So here's our next twin. All right, here.
Yeah. Because I remember Twins because Danny DeVito was annoyed because Arnold Schwarzenegger got all of the good genes because he is a super scientist muscle man.
That's clever.
Danny DeVito is Danny DeVito.
All right. So I'll be real disappointed if Danny DeVito doesn't pop up here and Upgrade. Because that's all I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure. Is Danny DeVito dead? I don't
know.
No,
he's still alive. He's on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
You say that like I've seen a single episode of that show.
Yeah, well. He's like a real dirtbag in that show, and it's really good.
Okay. So, good news about Upgrade, however.
Yes.
This is an R-rated movie.
Great. Love it.
So, it's already got one improvement over Venom, which is...
Right.
It is rated R instead of PG-13.
Right. Oh, man, Venom got so close to greatness. And it just couldn't get there.
So, it's rated R for strong violence, grisly images, and language, just so you're aware.
Grisly images, all right, here we go. This is good stuff. It's like when you were watching Cinemax in the 90s, and it's like, this movie contains, and you're like, oh, there's like 7 things there. Let's go.
Oh,
it's going to be good.
Start of every Game of Thrones episode where it's like, this episode is rated, R or PG-13 or whatever, and then it gives you a spoiler alert as to what the content of the episode is going to be.
I was just thinking me and my best friend in the 90s sitting there watching like HBO or Cinemax, and we're like, I don't know what Darkman is, but this has like 7 or 8 warnings at the beginning. I bet it's going to be pretty good. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
It
Darkman
was.
Bloody great.
Darkman is good. Oh, man.
Thank you, Liam Neeson, in your superhero outing.
Yeah. Wild. Yeah, okay. So Upgrade.
Okay, so Upgrade.
As much as we're rambling about this one, that's probably a good indication that we should get our final thoughts here on Upgrade before we watch the movie. Any parting thoughts?
No, I was surprised about how much I liked this movie. This was one of those movies that after everybody on the Bamfcast wouldn't shut up about it, I was like, fine, I'll watch bloody Upgrade.
Right.
And then I watched Upgrade and I was like, crap, they were right.
I need to tell everyone!
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, well, on that note, let's go watch the film.
Yep.
Welcome back. We have finished Upgrade. We've watched The Thing. Us and STEM have watched this film. If you want to know how much I enjoyed it, just right here off the jump, I've literally 0 notes for this movie. Engrossed for the entire runtime of this film. Which...
That's great.
Yeah, to say that's uncommon is an understatement. Because usually I'm pausing
it
and...
goes one way or the other. It goes
right.
Too many notes or 0 notes.
How many pages or 0? Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I gotta say, Logan Marshall-Green, killing it. Just, I would like to see him in more things in general. I also haven't played that game Telling Lies, which apparently he's one of the 4 characters in. I did not realize that.
He is.
So I guess I'll have to play that thing. I also think this was my first... Is it Blumhouse or Bloomhouse? Do you know?
I think it's Bloomhouse.
Okay. I think this is my first Bloomhouse movie. Which...
I would say it can't be, but it's you, so...
Yeah, I mean, we should probably...
Is.
Yeah, I should probably pull up the list of things they've made, but they make a lot of, like... oh no, I watched Split and Get Out. So
yeah, it used to be a lot of schlocky stuff, and then they suddenly
right.
got super serious when Jordan Peele came in and started working with them. That's when they started getting some serious bangers going on.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff that I've always wanted to watch, like the Insidious movies, Purge, Happy Death Day. You know, there's a lot of like good movies that seem campy. Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, they put out Upgrade. Which you had said before we started this twinned series, this 2-parter here, that we should probably watch Venom because you suspect that Upgrade is a better movie, and yeah, you weren't lying. Like Venom is a solid movie, but man, Upgrade is like a hot banger from nearly the first minute.
Yeah, I mean, can we just talk about like the fact that it's set into God knows how long into the future straight away, and it doesn't tell you that, it literally just sets the world. Like, it's all it does. It builds the world through showing you stuff, and it's incredible. And I love that kind of stuff.
Because, like, it's one of these movies that's, like, set far in the future, but scarily close. Because like
Minority Report, which I'm pretty sure you probably haven't seen either.
I have not seen, yeah. Because like when you're introduced to Gray, he's working on the car he's working on, and it's
Stingray, I think.
Probably. I'm not a super big car guy. It looks cool though, so like I appreciate that.
Like essentially like a replica from the Smokey and the Bandit movies, which you also haven't seen.
I might have seen.
No. You understand that reference because you've seen the season of Archer, which is all about outlaw country. That's why.
No, I definitely have not seen that season of Archer.
What, really?
Yeah, okay. No, thank you. But I like that it introduces you to him. Like he's just working in the garage. He gets cut because, of course, when you're working on anything, you get cut. And I like that. Immediately his wife Asha comes home in this like self-driving future car, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, we're in the future.
He's working on a classic car, like a proper like American muscle,
right? A fuel-driven car, like no batteries in that thing, no capacitive charging, and I like that he's not like a super technophile, but he is wary of it, and he definitely doesn't
Yes.
like relying on it. So he's not like, oh, these dang computers, yeehaw, fuel cars. But he's sort of
Yeah.
like, I'd rather not do this thing.
But Boston, he lives in a society.
That's we do live in a society. um, but I like that he's like, I am delivering this car to this very obvious Silicon Valley rich dude. You're gonna come with me because like somebody has to drive me back, right? And I don't want to trust one of these future
Which
cars.
is funny because he drives with her in the passenger seat in the
Right.
muscle car
Yep.
with the other car following
Mhm.
them automatically.
I really liked that. It's just a little bit of like, you're still gonna ride with me, but like we still need a ride back. Um,
Mhm.
I really like, um, what's the Aaron Keane? I really like
Yeah.
this like
Can we talk about the name really quick? Like how it's
Aaron
one
Keane.
letter off, essentially, from our
Yeah,
dystopian future.
yeah, from like a lot of Silicon Valley douches. Um, I really like how this guy plays Aaron Keane a lot. This like detached, scientific, believable social media runner that
Hmm.
you have seen in the news, but like not too on the nose to where it's like, oh, he's playing this dude. He's not
Yeah.
playing a real person. I also like that.
He's also playing Boy Genius as well, like
Yes.
which
Mhm.
adds another spin to it because one could argue that the current tech giants, none of them are Boy Geniuses, which is
Correct.
hilarious.
Correct.
Um,
So a lot of
but
people just buying their positions. Weird and interesting.
yes,
Weird.
strange.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like I like how he plays it, where he's like he does not have the social graces, like the fact that I think his wife, Gray's wife, works for a rival company, and she's like, "Yeah, we're hoping to do big things for robotics,"
Yeah.
and immediately he's like, "No, you're not. Let
Yeah.
me show you why you're
And
not."
and that's after he shows them his cloud, and I think it was Gray asked him like, "Hey man, what are you playing with?" He's like, "My cloud." It's like
Uh-huh.
cool. It's just a floating cloud
Which
in his room. No big deal.
just for those listening who haven't seen, it's not like his cloud storage. He's not messing with files or
No.
anything. It's an actual cloud.
Yeah, an actual cloud that he's like playing with and petting, and he's just like, "Yeah, it's my cloud. Why?" It's just like,
Mhm.
okay. So he shows him STEM, a multi-purpose chip with unlimited potential. And Gray goes, "Yeah, yeah, right. All I see is just a bunch of people out of work. Like this real
Yeah,
like
you see I think it's progress and profits, and I see 10 guys on the unemployment line. I think is the line,
exactly. Yeah.
which is nice,
It's
nice.
it's it's this real like Gray is never mean about it, but it's just the reality of like people like me that work with their hands like this. I'm not going to have a job if
Hmm.
you put this thing out there.
And
Um,
also, he hates his house, which I like.
yeah, yeah, he's like he's continually uncomfortable. I really like we'll get into it here pretty shortly. I really like that in every scene pre Gray's upgrade, he's slouching, he's like lounging, he's like made out of like he's made out of silly putty, he's just kind of like
Hmm.
melting into something. I think that's a real good like before and after thing that's going on.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, they give him the car and they say, "All right, bye. We're going to ride our self-car driving car home." Oh no,
Hmm.
malfunction. Oh no, crash. Oh no,
Oh no, we're in the bad part of town. Oh
right.
no.
We're here to help. Wait, what's that in his hand? Whoops, it's a gun.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so Asha gets killed. Gray gets shot in the neck, which we find severs his spinal cord and is out for a number of months. Um,
One gets the impression, yes.
yeah, it seems like it's a considerable amount of time. Returns home with his
His mother.
mom. Yeah, she's taking care of him, and I
Well, her and the house are taking care of him.
Yeah, that house is super cool. Like,
with the hands. It's like,
I
make me a protein shake, and it's like Slade
yeah,
makes a protein shake, and it's like,
squirt. There you go. I really like some of them in in my life. I really like practical technology like this. Like, it's really cool, and I'm sure some element of it exists in the real world. But like, I really like technology like that that is built to help people or built to improve something. So like, seeing this
uh-huh.
whole house taking care of him, I'm like, man, some of the future, a lot of the future, most of it really sucks. But like, look at what we could
Some bits
do.
of it, some bits of
Yeah,
it will be good.
some
Like
would
his
be pretty cool.
wheelchair capacitive charging station that he has at his
Yeah,
house is
that's
kind of
super cool.
sick.
Yeah, like, yeah,
And I gotta
there's some
say,
cool stuff.
I also love how accurate they are with the wheelchair controls because he's paralyzed from the neck down, and
Hmm.
it's that thing where he's always leaning forwards until he has to go backwards, and then he leans further
Yes.
backwards and he does the turns kind of thing.
Yep.
It's really, really, really well done.
Yep.
Um, and I'll be honest, Logan acts his backside off in this sequence because
Hmm.
you see him sad, you see him just blank and empty, you see him talking to the detective who we meet in this sequence, who,
Oh, she's so good. God,
like,
she's great, and like, she's her like trying to hold out this olive branch, being like, look, man, like, I know, I get it, I've been there, I want to help you, I need you to help me however you can. And his line of like, how can I help you? I can't even walk. It's just like,
uh-huh.
man.
And you get his technophile thing coming up as well, where like she's like, look, these are the drone footage,
Yeah,
but we can't ID the guys because they've circumvented the chips that
right.
everybody has. And it's like, so you mean to say you got all of this stuff and you can't do nothing?
Yeah, everything in this world is watching us all the time, and you can't access any of it. So all this stuff is useless. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, he's
I'll
not wrong.
I'll be honest, in a real world situation, like a real world conversation here for a second, this is the gun rights argument.
Oh, sure, yeah,
In a nutshell, it's
yeah,
we all need guns because the bad guys can get guns. If you
right,
outlaw guns, the bad guys are still going to get guns. I'm a firm believer of screw guns. I don't need
mm-hmm,
guns. I don't need a gun in my house. I don't need my
ditto,
neighbor to have a gun and potentially shoot me.
yep,
And me doing that is not going to change a bad guy having a gun.
right,
Like, it's just not. But you make it harder for them, and it gets harder and harder and harder and harder, and then it's only the real bad guys who get a gun. And then when the real bad guys get a gun, they tend to get caught because they are stuck so far outside of the law, kind of thing.
sure, right,
Like,
right,
literally in England, there was a shooting this week recently, and it made front page news everywhere. One shooting made front page news.
wow,
That should tell you everything you need to know about my opinion on guns
right,
versus no guns, kind of
right.
thing.
And this stuff, especially with the drones and surveillance and stuff, especially over in Europe, especially in England, is it's that dancing the fine line of like, all right, this is pretty interesting in 2018, and in 2021 is even more interesting slash terrifying.
Uh
Um,
huh.
so that's pretty interesting. Um, I so Gray goes home and tries to off himself by shooting his meds
Yeah.
a whole bunch of times.
Can we talk about that scene as well? How Logan earns his stripes with his acting in this sequence because he's just so good.
It's
Like,
he's just real great. I just
it's
put him in
so
more
heartbreaking
things.
as well. Like, you know
Yeah.
what he's doing, and you see him, like, he realizes what he can do, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to keep saying this over and
Yeah,
over and
he's like,
over
well, they
again.
didn't put a failsafe on this, so here we go. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's rough. But he wakes up in the hospital, and Aaron is there, and says like, "Hey man, you want to walk again? I got this stem. Remember Stem? My little buddy Stem? How about we kick that guy on the old spine here, and let's see what that does." And there's a couple of real good scenes here of Gray waking up after the surgery and like nearly immediately walking.
Uh-huh.
Um,
The
And
surgery itself is incredibly well done, and also,
yep,
hello, R rating. There you are. Welcome to the
yeah,
movie, and we're about to show so much more.
yeah. I really like the when the camera is kind of
The
sweeping
dome,
over Gray, where like the screen and then an opening and another screen, like that back and forth is really cool looking.
and then you also get to see their lenses, the contact lenses of the
Yes,
people doing it, which is like focusing in and out on.
yeah,
It's like that's a cool touch. Like
hmm,
imagine a surgeon not needing all of that clutter of the machines that we currently use, and just
right.
having everything right there in front of their eyes if they need it.
And that's what I think this movie does really well. Is it's not the the surgeons aren't like, hey, don't forget your special things that you put in your eyes to do that. It just shows it to you. Like, it's not
Mhm.
interested in like building the lore and the world. And it's just like, no, man, like you can probably figure out they got some cool robot eyes or something. Like
Yeah.
we don't need to spend 2 minutes on it. Um, Gray signs a non-disclosure agreement where he's supposed to pretend to still be paralyzed, goes home and watches a drone video feed, and then in an incredible scene mirroring our previous movie, Stem decides to say hello, which is really good. Just
Yeah,
like,
can I point something out? I think is what he says first, and it's just like, hold on, what was that?
yep. This is a really great Steadicam shot. It's not very long, but where Gray walks into his house. I think it's when the first time he gets out of the wheelchair in his house, and the Steadicam is following behind him as he's walking up those stairs.
It's just the wobble, the slight wobble.
Yep, yeah. There's a slight wobble to it, which is great, and then the more time that he spends walking, the more that it's really robotic. Like his back is completely straight. He walks, he turns 90 degrees, then he starts walking again. Like his movements are really, really, really good in this. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a cool, it's a cool thing they picked up from, uh, in direct opposition from how he was behaving before he got STEM. I think
Yeah,
it's a cool
suddenly he
little
does
thing.
have perfect posture.
Yeah. Which I was reading something, Logan Marshall-Green says he took that from Overwatch. The Zenyatta, I think is the character's name. Um, the guy that has the orbs who's floating.
Mhm.
Apparently he took that movement style from Overwatch. I was like, okay,
Of course.
interesting. Um, but yeah, Stem says, "Hey man, let's figure out this video. That's weird. He doesn't seem like he's holding a gun. Huh. I wonder what that's all about." Anyways, his name is Cirque
Uh-huh.
Bratner. And it's just
Yep.
like,
It's
okay.
like, oh, hey, let me just draw this tattoo really quickly.
I really
Which
liked the like dot matrix
I
printer.
was gonna say he draws it like a printer, which is great.
It's really good. And it's this I like that there's this the foreshadowing where Gray is like, this feels weird, not kind of having control of my own body. And I immediately was like, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. This is gonna go bad. This is gonna happen. Um, so Gray breaks into Cirque's home and finds that he and some other peeps have been upgraded with kind of cybernetic implants. Most notably,
Yep.
hey, we got gun arms, like some
Yep.
Barrett business.
Which can we talk about how badass that is? With like them loading the shells into their elbow crook and then cocking the guns by like flexing their
Yeah,
arms.
on paper it sounds really dumb. It sounds like the like, oh yeah, I'm like cocking my arm and it like a shotgun sound happens. In the movie it's dope as hell.
It's
Like,
executed so well. Like it
yeah,
just
because
is. It's
it
it's because they don't ham it up. Like it's just a hole
no.
in the hand
Yep.
and a hole in the crook of the elbow, and
Yep.
nobody overacts it. It's just very simple, like know, methodically like loading the gun by just
Yep.
like you would a shotgun, except it just happens to be into your elbow.
Yep.
It's so cool.
There's a scene later where um uh who is it? Fisk shoots two people in an elevator, and it's just like, yeah, this is my gun. Like I hold out my hand, blap blap, and they're dead. Like
Mhm.
it's a weapon. It just happens to be inside of their body. Um
Yes. Again,
uh
world building here though in this guy's apartment. The
mhm.
table, the glass
Love it.
table.
Love it.
So good.
That's incredibly my jam. Like giant glass tables that are screens where you're reading email. Like I'm a sucker for that stuff every time. Um,
Uh-huh.
so they get into a fight. Oh boy, Stem convinces
Yeah, the
Gray to
Dev
take
breaks in.
over, and then slits this dude's head open in like
Uh-huh. So before
wolf.
we get to the grossness, we
Uh-huh.
should talk about this fight scene. How the guy's
Oh,
like he's hiding, and then Stem's like, "Go, do it now. You need to do something now while you have this surprise. Go,
right,
go, 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 do it now." And because he can't do anything without Logan saying "take control" kind of thing, things go south for a little bit, and then Logan's like, "No, Stem, take control." And then
right.
he does the whole hands palm down, jump straight up to vertical kind of thing
Yeah, I
in
love that
like
he
the
like
arrow
just
stand.
yeah he just like stands straight up. It's great.
And yeah, you get more of that robotic, like steady cam shots kind of thing where it focuses solely on him. And
Hmm.
as he's dodging and stuff like that, though, it's rotating and panning around him, but always he is center frame.
I
It's
I
so
had
well shot.
I had to look up how they did that because they do that in a whole bunch of the fight scenes. And
I know how, and I want you to reveal it because it's so good.
Logan Marshall-Green has a phone on him, and the camera is hooked into the gyroscope of the phone, and the camera is tilting based on how the phone's gyroscope is moving. And I was like, "That's brilliant. that's
It's so
that's
good.
super great." Um, I really like Gray's increased worry where he's like, Stem, you need to stop this. And he's telling the dude, like, please stay down. Don't get up. I'm begging you, please
Yeah.
stay down. Nope, you're getting back up. Okay, this is going
Yep.
really badly. Oh no.
Stem, he has a knife. Stem, he has a knife.
Right.
It's okay. Now we have one too.
Right. God. And yeah, like that whole fight scene is great. And just like the efficiency with which Stem splits that dude's face open is just like, okay,
Mhm.
that's terrifying and
And so
really
gross.
gross.
Like, it's so gross, dude.
Yeah, and it hangs on that shot for like a second or two too long, where you're still looking at it. You're like, boo, okay.
Mhm.
um, but yeah, they clean the apartment except for a boot print on the
Yeah, I'm
patio.
sorry. You can't skip over this. You can't skip over the. I recommend you clean up all evidence you were here.
Hmm.
And then he's like, and Stem's like, yeah, that includes the vomit in the sink and dusting down all places you might have touched. And he's like, I don't remember where I touched.
Right,
And
and
Stem's like,
Stem is like,
okay, I
I have a
have
record of
records
every place you've
everywhere
touched.
you touched. And then he just pauses on that
Yeah,
shot and just holds on that shot for 2 seconds and then cuts. It's
yeah.
so good.
I feel like one of the things that I like a lot about Upgrade is that dark humor of like, I don't remember everything I touched. I have a record of everything you touched. It's like that's genuinely very funny.
Mhm.
Also terrifying, but like
Yes.
the level of like back and forth between not only Gray and Stem, but also Gray and the hacker later, Jamie, I think.
Yes, I
Is
think it is.
really good. Like there's a really good comedic timing to a lot of this movie, and I feel like it probably doesn't get enough credit for that. Um, he the detective is trying to figure out if he's a suspect, and the computer is like, he's paralyzed. Like, why would he be able
Yep.
to do any
No
of this?
valid suspect. Like,
Right? Yeah, and it's just like
parameters do not match, I think it said.
I think it does say something about parameters. It's real good. Um, they Aaron is not super happy about
Mhm.
Gray sort of getting out, and Gray is like, "Well, yeah, that's because like Stem is talking to me," and Aaron is like, I'm sorry."
Yep.
he's he's doing the what now? Um, he then to hunt down his next suspect, Gray goes to the Old Bones, the bar in his town,
Yep. And this is the
and
same time that Stem is warning him that Aaron will shut him down and he will shut Stem off
right,
if
if
he
if
leaves
you're
again.
acting wild, you know you're gonna get me shut down. So he goes and acts wild at the Old Bones
Yep.
and picks a fight with oh god, Tolan. Uh, fights Tolan for a little bit, and
like, I love this. Like Tolan, like he gives Tolan so much disrespect,
Hmm.
and Tolan he tells the bartender to turn the music up because him and his four boys are gonna go kill a cripple in
Right. And it's just like,
like
oh boy.
as as he defines himself. Like he calls
Yes.
himself a cripple,
Right.
and like Tolan and everyone are gonna go beat this dude up in
Hmm.
the bathroom.
This dude
Like,
in a wheelchair.
uh-huh.
Yep.
It's like, really? Like you're that much of a villain? Like
Right.
really?
That's how bad you are. Yeah, and I like that. I think this is the scene where Stem turns off his pain receptors in his leg for the guy to
Hmm.
stab him. Um, and then Stem is telling him to relax and not get cocky and know he's not a ninja, which is is really good. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and Gray plus Stem takes out everybody, and then Stem takes over to torture
The
Tolan
Yep.
by
Hmm.
cutting him about 50 bazillion times, which
Yeah,
is
you don't even have to look at them. Like he closes his eyes, he looks away, and all you see is the hand motion and hear that
oof,
sound.
oof.
It's so close.
Yeah, so he tortures that dude. He says like, "Yo, our ringleader is Fisk," and sort of there's this suggestion that Asha's company hired them to kill Asha, which was a minute of like, wait, I'm sorry, what?
Yep.
Um, so this was now where Stem is like, okay, um, the Aaron knows what you're doing. He's gonna shut me down.
Yep.
So
So we need to go
we
find
need,
this hacker.
yeah, we need to go find this hacker, Jamie. Uh, you have money. Here's a whole bunch of code I need you to write on your hand. Here's the things I need to do. Get out of the chair and get going. Um, and man, this is a hell of a scene. Like this is a hell of a couple of scenes here where as Aaron is shutting down Stem, Gray sort of starts falling apart a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and barely gets to Jamie. Um, Jamie then takes off the, oh god, input limiters.
I
Is that what
believe
it?
so, yes.
Input guards,
There you go.
um, and reboots. Uh, there's a. I really like the back and forth between Jamie and Gray in this scene of like, my name's not Jamie, don't call me that, and like Gray just being completely um, immobile on the ground, where he's just like, "What are you doing?" She's just like tippy tappy typing away.
Yeah, and
Um,
you got all the VR people in the background as well doing
right,
their whole
right.
thing.
Their whole cool VR stuff. She does all the stuff. She reboots Stem, and then sees that Fisk is coming. Seems to know who he is, and gets the hell out of there. Which is a pretty great scene of just like, I'm gonna leave these VR nerds here, but I am definitely going to escape. Um,
Yeah, I like paper money as well. How old school. Wow, they
right.
really did write God on it.
I liked that. It's like, and it's all that little stuff where it's like, yeah, I don't have paper money anymore. Why would they? Like they have
Hmm.
e credits or U creds or something. Like it. There's something different. Um, I really like this thing of Fisk finding Gray and um all of a sudden Stem is back and they just book it out of the building. Like he does that
Yup.
like stand straight up and just cooks right out of the building.
And
Um
then the company guys are showing up too. This is where you get that elevator scene where he like
yep.
you see just how upgraded Fisk is because he does the whole eye thing where he looks through the wall with thermal vision, and
Mhm.
then he's just like plap 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 as the elevator's going up, and it's just like,
Yep.
yeah, you're all dead.
It's such a cool scene. Like we also sort of accidentally skipped over the interrogation scene with Fisk and the
Oh, the
barkeeper,
bartender.
where he's like, "You just let him in there, like to beat up one of our own. You didn't want to stop that or anything." And he goes, "Achoo!" And then you get to see the little like scythe nanobots go in And
Mhm.
I like that you get the first taste of like, he's saying like, as you're dying, you know, be reminded that we're better than you. It's
Yup.
this like holier than thou kind of. We find out later they call themselves the Upgraded, which is a pretty good name. Um,
It is. If you're gonna go cultish, you gotta have good branding.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to have a cool like social media account. Um, uh, so he goes home, and of course he's like walking around his house, and his mom is like, hi,
Uh-huh.
what's what's going on with all this? And then the detective shows up, interrogates him for a little bit, bugs his jacket, and then of course, Gray just doesn't learn his lesson again, and is just blurting out his plans vocally.
Yep.
Um, so
The future
St-
car chase with the non-future cars.
yeah, like this is a pretty neat, because basically Stem is like, look, we got to finish this, because if not, he's going to come and he's going to kill us. So like, go find Fisk and let's end this.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they have a future car chase on future highway with old school cars. Um, there's a great little scene of Stem taking over one of those auto cars and crashing it into the detective's thing.
Yep.
It's like
Because he
a
can't do anything directly. He can't slow her
right.
car down. He can't slow his car down. So he improvises.
Yeah, and there's a real good throwaway shot here for like a second or two, where the screen in the auto car looks shockingly similar to how it did in the intro, and that had me
Uh-huh.
like having the squinty eyes at the screen, like, interesting. Okay. Um, so, God, so much happens here. Um,
Yep.
Gray and Stem find Fisk, who
We
admits
get
that
that brothers but enemies kind of conversation and fight at the same time.
right, because he admits that like, yo, my only real job was to paralyze you. Uh,
Hmm.
Asha's death was just a little bit of extra cash. He's like, I. How do you think I didn't kill you, but I still severed your spine? They have a real good fight, um, where they're pretty well matched. They do some gun
It's
kata to start with, which is great.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it's all about emotions.
Yes,
Like like Gray is emotional.
and,
So
and
like
Fisk even
Stem can't,
stops him.
yeah, and Stem can't really focus. It seems like it, like Gray is
Right.
too emotional, and like Fisk is matching him blow for blow and says,
Yep.
"Look at you, you're so emotional. You've got
Right.
it cold and calculating." And you can tell that that's what eventually flips the script.
Right. And I really like that line from Fisk where it's like, no, you can't get emotional. We're better than that. It's like,
Uh
oh,
huh.
interesting. Okay. There's also a really good shot when Gray pulls the trigger for the first time, and like in one frame, Fisk is out of the way of the bullet. Like the amount of speed that these two have is incredible.
We did
Um,
miss the other upgraded guy getting defeated after the booking gate scene, where he got shot in his own head with his own wrist gun, which is gross.
yeah, I
Thanks,
forgot
R-rated
forgot
movie.
about that. Yeah, woof. Yeah, so like you said, they fight. They're pretty well matched. They the only way that Gray beats Fisk is by taunting him and bragging about killing Cirque. And then while Fisk is distracted, Stem kills him in like one of those scenes where it's like, oh yeah, you got stabbed with this thing. Oh, you're sinking down onto it. Ooh, okay.
Mhm.
Ugh. Um, they check out Fisk's phone to find a message from Aaron. So let's go see Aaron. Why not? Go check him out in his sad cloud home. Um, Aaron is getting held. No, Aaron is there. The Detective Cortez is there. Aaron drops the bomb that I don't run my own company anymore or my own life. It's all been STEM, and there's a sequence of
Is this where the sirens started going off for you rather than the red flags?
yeah, a lot of like really great shots of just STEM sort of being like, "Hey man, like why don't you take care of this? Why don't you go buy this car from this dude?" STEM being in the contact lenses of the doctors, pretty much everything. We find that Aaron did all of this because STEM's goal is to become human,
Uh-huh.
and STEM wants to kill Aaron because he's the only one capable of creating another STEM.
Yep.
So STEM then has Gray kill Aaron in like one of the most surprising kills in this movie, where he puts that knife that's through Gray's hand into Aaron's head, which is
Yeah.
real great.
And
We
like
also
this whole time, like Gray is fighting him, and Sam's like, "No, no, no, don't fight me,
right.
don't
Remember
fight
when
me."
we took off the input limiters? That's what we did.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Now
taking over now,
you
dummy.
can't say stop.
Right. Yeah, he's doing a real good job. I think it manages to not be cheesy where Gray is fighting STEM. Because like some stuff like that in movies can be pretty cheesy, but I think Logan Marshall-Green does a real great job selling this. He kills Aaron. He is trying to kill um,
The cop.
Detective Cortez. And then this is one of my favorite shots in the movie. Gray decides, well, if this isn't going to work, I'm just going to shoot myself in the head. And
Mhm.
as soon as that gun goes off, the switch, like that snap cut to the hospital room where Asha is there, is so good.
Mhm.
And it's STEM had already brought Asha into one of Gray's dreams before, and Gray was like, "Man, I had a bad dream," and STEM was sort of like, "Was it interesting?" And I was like, "Okay." Um,
Yep.
so here's where it comes full circle that Gray kind of has a mental break and eventually accepts this kind of nice dream, to reference a Radiohead song, of
And we also get the reference to the VR thing. Like, why would you
right.
stay in VR all the time?
Yep.
Because sometimes the real world sucks.
It's okay in here. Um, so STEM fully bypasses Gray sort of mentally and takes over uh, Gray's body, kills Cortez, and leaves, and that's the end of the movie.
Uh-huh. And it does that wobbly camera shot thing as it goes out the
Hmm.
door as well.
Yep. Boy, it there's so much in this movie in what is it, like 110 minutes, 100 minutes. Um,
Uh-huh.
God, it Upgrade is really great. Upgrade will definitely be one of those movies I recommend to people where it's like, hey, you want to see something cool? Just go watch Upgrade. Like, just put it
Yep.
in, get some popcorn, hang out, watch a 90-minute movie. You're gonna enjoy it. Um, Logan Marshall-Green is really
He's
good in this.
phenomenal.
Yeah, he's just I just want to see him in more stuff. I feel like for me, he was solid in Prometheus. Um,
Yeah, he was okay in that, I thought, yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't the focal point of the movie. I feel like he really got an opportunity in this to kind of it feels like he made the role his own. Um and you know, we talked a lot about Tom Hardy versus Logan Marshall-Green, kind of where their acting strengths lie. And I think you put it best that Tom Hardy is a really great facial actor. Like
Uh-huh.
his face acting is really great. Logan Marshall-Green, I think he really kills it in this, of just like his facial acting is fine, but just like how he embodies STEM when STEM takes over is really great, and just the way he like is physically dragging himself across the street and like up these stairs to see Jamie, like it's really really good. And I really have nothing either bad or average or any frustration points about this movie at all. I think it's just like almost and like an hour and a half of just a movie that's cooking right along, and it made a cool near future thing that's kind of terrifying and interesting and funny and scary all at once.
Yeah, and to be honest, a twist that I think Patrick Klavick said it best, which is you can't just throw in a shock left turn at the end
Exactly.
and have it be called a twist. There has to be hints. There has to be things that build up to it.
Yep.
But the problem with that is if you leave enough hints, then the twist is ruined. You see it coming every
Right.
single time.
Right.
Where I think this does it so fantastically well. Like even the guy who played Aaron, like his acting is just on the right side of semi-sociopathic billionaire genius child, and also at the same time hostage of his
Right.
own making.
Exactly.
You can see it each way, and like the performances in this are genuinely what made it. Like I don't remember, I liked the Logan Marshall-Green before I saw this. I thought he was fine, a bit over the top considering the thing I'd seen him in the most was the OC, which is a soap opera, so therefore
right.
big acting is required, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But in this, like he nails so much in this.
Yeah.
It's so good. And the movie as a whole is just like, yeah, okay. That's fantastic. Like beat by beat, moment by moment to it. There is not a lot of wasted time in here.
No. And I mean, the budget for this movie is only $3 million. Like they made this on such a small budget. And I think they really made everything work in this, and they just made a hell of a movie. Like I think this thing's incredible. It's 5 out of 5. Love it. Super great. I'll definitely be recommending it. I will be one of those people that's also like, oh, you want to see something cool? You a little bored? Watch 2018's Upgrade. Just go watch it. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So better than Venom, then. We're going to agree on this one.
Yeah. I mean, Venom, like we talked about last episode, Venom definitely struggles with its PG-13 rating. I'm not necessarily sure an R for Venom would have made it better than Upgrade, but I think it certainly would have brought it closer.
Yeah.
But I think Upgrade is just it very much is the same idea, in a really weird way, just done like tighter and I think more interestingly.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts here for Upgrade?
Not for me. So Twinned episode season 8 is officially over.
Yeah.
Twinned movies V1.
Yes. Our introduction to Twinned movies, which we'll be doing this as a programming note here. We'll be doing this every once in a while, especially after we finish kind of longer seasons as kind of a little bit of a breather where it's like, all right, we will just watch 7 movies. Let's do a quick 2-parter, and then we'll get into maybe something meatier after that.
Yeah, these are the palate cleansers.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get just like a quick 1-2 punch, and then we'll kind of move on to something else. But yeah, happy with our first Twinned here. I thought this was a cool combo of movies, and definitely now that we've seen them, it's like, oh yes, these are very much the same. It's startlingly similar between these two very different movies.
And we actually both agree then. Upgrade, then Venom in our rankings.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Upgrade's a great movie. All right, that's it for this episode, and that's it for season 8. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.